What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Wrestling City. As always, I'm Taylor, and this is your Monday Night Raw review for December 29th, 2025. I must say, I gotta say, man, WWE ended 2025 on a pretty good note. I gotta admit, this was a good show. Was it a great show? No. Was it the best show that we've seen all year? No, not even close. But I think they did what they needed to do to end the year on a strong note. I really think they did what they needed to do to end this year on a strong note. They came out here and they delivered what I thought was a very good show. I enjoyed a majority of the show. I mean, honestly, I did. I never was once bored watching this show. Yeah, I mean, what a way to end the year. We had so pretty much really what this show um, was to get us ready for next week because next week, the first Raw of 2026, the 1 year anniversary of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. You've got two pretty some two pretty major title matches. You had two major title matches tonight. I get why they didn't want to just load everything onto next week's show, but I thought what they did to get us ready for next week, I thought they delivered really well. Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, excuse me, and CM Punk had another fantastic face to face to sell us on their world title match next week, and then Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch. I thought they had a fantastic one on one promo as well to sell us on their match next week, and then you had the Kabuki Warriors. They tried to sell us on their match next week, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not like that promo that they cut. I think they are better cutting a promo when it's those vignette type promos where they're pre-taped and WWE edits them, adds the music to the background. I think that's where they thrive the most. Um, but I mean, all it really was is just a brawl, and then see you next week. So man, there's a lot to get into in this show, but I will say that I thought that they ended 2025 on a really high note. So let's uh let's get into the show. Let's start off at the top. So we have the Vision making their way down to the ring, getting ready to cut a promo. The CM Punk chants obviously start up here, and Heyman explodes, saying Punk could have been in his group if he had just listened to him in the first place. And this is the moment where you'll look back on social media years from now and identify all the WrestleMania main eventers of a whole era standing right here, right now. And he says, the rumors are true. Austin Theory is the newest member of the Vision. Paul tells him to earn his keep and passes him the microphone. So this is the first time we'll hear Theory, Austin Theory, with a microphone in his hand as an official member of the Vision, and he didn't really say a whole lot. He didn't really say much until CM Punk interrupted him. Now, Punk at this point, he's just standing at the top of the entranceway because he knows that if he gets into that ring with all members of the Vision standing in there, he's going to get his ass kicked. So he played it smart here and just decided to just to stay up top at the entranceway, the safest part of that arena at that moment. So he asked Theory if he's really drinking gallons of the Kool Aid and drinking gallons of the Kool Aid this soon, and says he's not here to listen to him, but he's here for the other kid, Braun Breaker. He's been called a lot of fucking fly flying around. Jesus, throw me off. Where that thing came from? Got him. Anyways, where was I? Let's see here. He asked Theory if he's really drinking gallons of Kool Aid this soon, and says he's not here to listen to him. He's here for the other kid, Braun Breaker. He's been called a lot of things in his career. He's tougher than he is smart, and he hopes one of them has the brains in the outfit to explain to Braun that the match is already set for next week, and he could come down there and say a few things, and they could all attack him, but then there's probably not a title shot next week. It's there. He's got a point. Uh, so why he's here? He likes to look a man in the eye before he puts him to sleep. So unless he's scared, Breaker should get his boys out of the ring so they can clear the air face to face. Punk has a few things to say to him, and he sure has a big mouth when he's around. When he's not around, though, is the little doggy scared? He's calling Braun a little doggy. All right. So then Braun gets the mic. He says CM Punk is the only one who's scared and tells him to go ahead and come in the ring. They won't hurt him. Punk holds back until the rest of them leave, and then he gets in the ring to face. So we can start this face to face one final time before their match next week. Breaker asks why they're standing here. Why does the vision exist? Because they look towards the future. They see the things through the same lens. He puts over each member of the vision in turn, and he's sick of being told that he's the future and one day he's going to do it all. Because guess what? He's not the future, he's the now. He is the now. He is the now, and I'm hoping he becomes the now next week. He says Punk has the audacity to come here and say he's just a shiny new toy who's going to fail under the bright lights. So go ahead and turn around and find somebody in the locker room who can do what he's done on less than a year of pre-experience, who's more born into the industry than him, who's more than a dog than him. People like CM Punk think he's had everything handed to him because of the lineage, but everything he's done has been put under a microscope and held to a higher standard than he can imagine. And he was supposed to be the putting in his he was supposed to be putting in his time on the Indies, but instead he was on the football field with Lamar Jackson. They're not the same. On January 5th, he's willing to die for that title, and he knows Punk will too, so he's going to let Punk die. He's going to put him in the ground and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Now, this was another pretty solid promo from Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has very much held his own when it comes to these promo battles between him and CM Punk. I think he's done a very good job holding his own here. Um, has a very tall task to face. You know, you're in there with one of the best promo workers in the business, and kudos to Braun Breaker for holding his own. He didn't see. He looked like he belonged. He really did. He sounded like he belonged. So that was good to hear. Punk says he's not going to come out here and tell Braun he's not ready because he thinks he's more than ready than anyone else in the back and certainly more ready than anyone else in the vision. But CM Punk isn't ready. You want what he's got, pick it up. So he then drops the title on the ground in between them and tells Braun to pick it up. And he's not just talking about the physical weight, but the privilege of being champion. He's not ready to let that go. He's not ready to give up the privilege of coming into sold out arenas and doing his shtick. Breaker is big, bad, strong, tough, and fast. He's got what it takes, but he's right that they're not the same because one of them is CM Punk. One day he's going to run out of rope, but it's not today. One day someone is going to beat him for the title, but it ain't going to be Braun. And he says he'll see him on January 5th, and that is how the segment came to a close. Now, I've said multiple times the last, when was this match announced? Three weeks ago. I said that if it were up to me, I would put the title on Braun Breaker. The closer we've gotten, though, I'm starting to think that they're not going to do it. I just and now I get where a lot of you people say that he doesn't need to win the world title yet because he's super young. He's got so much. I mean, he's got so many years ahead of him to win the world title. But I don't see why not just go ahead and put the title on him now. Why not go ahead and shake things up to start the year? And Braun Breaker, he said that he is not the future. He said he is the now. And I would want him to live up to that. I would want him to come in there next week and actually show us that he is the now. He's not just the future. He is the right now. He is the presence of WWE and Monday Night Raw and the world title. But then we've got another title match that's taking place next week, later in the week, between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship in Berlin, Germany. And I don't see them doing two title changes in one week. I could see them doing where both champions retain, but I can't see them having both champions switch hands in the same week. And I feel like if either Braun Breaker or Drew McIntyre had to win the title next week, I'd probably have to go with Drew McIntyre. This is what, his fourth, fifth title shot that he's getting. I would think that he has got to win it at this point. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to that match. Yeah, man. I just I would put the title on Braun Breaker. I'm not gonna switch up on that. I would go ahead and put the title on Braun Breaker. So next up, we had a women's triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Bella, they took on Stephanie Vicaire. Now, I was very worried coming into this match. I was extremely worried that they were going to do something terrible here and put the title on Nikki Bella. I thought that them making this a triple threat match, you've got Nikki Bella in there and you got Raquel Rodriguez. And the thing with Raquel Rodriguez, there's been some tension brewing between the women of the Judgment Day, between Raquel and Liv and Roxanne. And before this match took place, um, Raquel was interviewed backstage. She says she'll be no tricks tonight and nobody's getting in her way. And then Liv Morgan rolled up and says that with JD and Dominic Mysterio both out for a little bit, she needs Raquel Rodriguez to take care of business, and she knows she will. Raquel says she can handle things on her own, and Liv says Roxanne Perez was going to walk her out of the ring, but before she could say that, Raquel cut her off, and she didn't want any of that. She didn't want that to happen. So I thought that there was going to be something to where they got involved here and that distracted Raquel Rodriguez. And then I was afraid that Nikki Bella was going to capitalize on that and pick up the win and get the world championship without pinning Stephanie Vicaire. But thank God they didn't make that. They didn't go with that decision because Stephanie Vicaire retains the world heavyweight championship. And things have got to pick up for Stephanie Vicaire and this world title scene in 2026. It has been pretty bad for quite some time. And it doesn't help that you've got half of the women's roster in tag teams going after the tag team titles. You've got Io and Rhea held up in the tag team. Liv and Roxanne held up in the tag team. You got Bailey and Lyra held up in a tag team. Not them doing this, them throwing all these women in the women's title picture. Yes, it's great and all, but it's causing some severe damage to the women's world title scene that desperately needs attention. I can't sit through another Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vicaire program or match. I just can't. I could very well see them running back Stephanie and Raquel, and then maybe that's where we see maybe a split up between the women of the Judgment Day. But I really thought that was going to happen tonight, but it didn't. And then Stephanie Vicaire retained, which was the right call. We really dodged a bullet with that one, I must say. So let's see what we got next. We had Gunther versus R Truth. Gunther picked up the win in about 3 minutes. Maybe he made Gunther tap out with the rear naked choke. So the after that, Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio. They had a match tonight. Rey Mysterio did pick up the win due to a disqualification because of Logan Paul got involved. But then after the match, Austin Theory and Logan Paul were beating down on Rey Mysterio, and Penta makes the save. Penta is back. He is back after suffering a shoulder injury in the John Cena last time is now tournament when he was facing Rusev. So that put him on the sidelines for a little bit, but it looks like he is officially back, and looks like Ray has got some help fighting the Vision now. So we'll see what they do there. I could very well see them doing a tag team match maybe next week with the Austin Theory and Logan Paul versus Penta and Rey Mysterio. Sign me up, because those are four great wrestlers, and you put them all in the ring at once. I think it'd be a pretty good tag team match, I must say. Um, Speaking of shoulder injuries, Dom Mysterio, you can add him to the list of wrestlers that have injured their shoulder in 2025. I mean, the shoulder injury has been a real curse for this company in 2025. Liv Morgan, she injured her shoulder. That's one. Chad Gable, Penta, Sheamus, I think he injured his shoulder. That's four. And Dom Mysterio, that's five. That's five people in 2025 alone that injured their shoulder. Now, they didn't really give a. They said that Dom would be out indefinitely. So it looks like they're not going to strip him of the Intercontinental Championship. We'll see if we get another update next week. But Joe Tessitore did state on commentary tonight that he will be out of action indefinitely. So he's out, and JD McDonough is also out. I think he has a shoulder injury too, if I'm not mistaken. So that would make the list six. Six guys who were out with a shoulder injury. Jesus, man. They gotta fix they gotta do something. Next up we had a promo between um Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch. So I'll get into this one real quick. So Maxine Dupree, she asked the crowd if they had a good holiday, and she said she did because it did be universe, and she thanks us for that. And then the crowd chants into "You deserve it" chants for Maxine Dupree because he deserves it. Uh, and she asked Becky Lynch if she hears that and says everyone knows the truth. She can keep saying she got screwed and she wasn't really beaten, but last week she tapped out because she had no choice. And on January 5th, Dupree will stop at nothing to remain. And then out comes Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, she claims she didn't tap out, and the only thing she tapped out to was living in Orlando. She wants to be an inspiration that if you get rich and famous, you can move out too. Lynch slides in the ring, and Maxine tells her to consider her next move closely because option A, Dupree will break her leg, or option B, which was Maxine's favorite option, is Becky will submit again. Lynch calls her moody and says she never starts a fight, but she does finish them, and she came to give her a credit. Yes, that is exactly how Becky Lynch said it. She didn't want to say it, but she was out there to give Maxine Dupree her credit. She sounds like me on a daily basis because I have a really bad stuttering problem. So I feel you, Becky Lynch. Um, when she first saw Maxine, she thought she was awful, terrible, the worst thing she's ever seen. I don't think she was the only one. If I'm being honest, I don't think Becky Lynch was. I think Becky Lynch was speaking for all wrestling. And this stupid ass fly is back. God Almighty. But like I was saying, I don't think she was. I think she was speaking for all of us because she wasn't very good at first. That she's ever seen. She's terrible, worst thing she's ever seen. Dupree asks if she has a point, and Becky says over the last few weeks and month, she's gotten a tiny bit better and got away with stealing a title, and that's not nothing. Dupree says the only thing she stole from Becky was her spotlight, and next week she's going to prove she deserves it again by beating her to retain the title. And everyone will say it. Maybe Sports Illustrated will say it, and Lynch will say it. Maxine Dupree, Intercontinental Champion. Becky calls her a little poop and says 4 weeks in a dungeon won't make up for a lifetime of training. And again, she insists she's the greatest female wrestler of all time, and it's not just her saying it. Sports Illustrated says it. Bleacher Report says it. You know her typical shtick with that. And she climbed every mountain and overcame every injustice perpetrated against her, and over unt- it's never over until she wins, and she always finds a way to win. Maxine thinks she stole her spotlight, but next week the eyes will be on her. She'll have to ask herself, is she everything the fans think she is, or everything Becky knows she is? And that was it. And I gotta say, man, Maxine Dupree has improved greatly. And not just in the ring, she has improved on the mic. She cut a very good promo, I believe, last week, and then she followed it up again this week with another pretty solid promo. Um, like I was saying last week, she she sounds believable. She sounds like she actually believes in what she is saying, and that is what I want to hear out of someone like Maxine Dupree, who hasn't had a lot of time with the mic or in the ring, and you can tell that this moment that she's getting right now, it means a lot to her, and she's taking advantage of it as much as she can. And you can see it in her eyes. You can see it. You can hear it in her voice. She really wants to keep this going, and I'm not against it with them keeping this going. I'm not so sure that she retains next week. I would like to see it, but I don't know. I feel like Becky Lynch at this point, hell, at this point, move her over to the world title picture. I mean, Stephanie Vaquer needs some challengers, and I think Becky Lynch would be a great challenger for Stephanie Vaquer in that woman's world title picture. That is someone that you need to throw into the world title picture. Becky's had a great run with the Intercontinental Championship, and I think now it is time that title needs to be a stepping stone for girls like Maxine Dupree. So I'm gonna go with Maxine Dupree retaining here, and then hopefully you can move Becky Lynch up to the world title picture. So Next up, the main event of the evening. You had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defending their Raw World Tag Team Champions against the Usos, Jimmy and Jay Uso. Um, this is a man. This was such a good match. Oh my goodness. I'll pick up with. So there were two commercial breaks in this match. I will pick up after the last one. So Jimmy sets Lee up top. Big Chop climbing up with him, jockeying for position. Dragon Lee gets him with the Tree of Woe double stomp. Tag made. Styles rush lights Jay up. Fends Jimmy off. Stinger splash. Yushigoroshi cover. Not enough. Uso with a fireman's carry, but AJ slips out. Jay clears the apron. Hits the spear and then tag to Jim off the top rope with a Uso splash. Styles kicks out. Lee blasts Jimmy over the announce desk with a suicide dive. AJ Styles from behind. Schoolboy, nope, not enough. Uh, Uso rolls through with a super kick, but then let's see here. Wait, super kick from Uso gets the Pele kick from Styles, hooking him, stepping over. Jey Uso kicks out of a Styles clash, and that I thought that was it right there. I really thought that they were going to win the retain the titles there. That was a very close near fall right there. AJ doesn't know what to do with himself. He's like can't believe that Jey Uso kicked out of the Styles clash. I couldn't believe it either. Styles suplexes Jay onto the top rope. Lee with a double stomp caught into the Styles Clash clutch again, but Jimmy Uso takes Dragon out with a super kick, um, and AJ lets go of the Styles Clash, fending Jimmy off out to the apron, lining Jay up. The Usos counter the phenomenal forearm with a super kick, um, or a super kick and they hit Dragon Lee as well, and then they hit the 1D on Dragon Lee, and then one, two, three. The Usos are the new World Tag Team Champions. They are now 9 times Tag Team Champions. What a match! I mean, just what a match to end what I thought was a great episode of Raw. Now there was a there was a moment backstage between the Usos earlier in the night where Jimmy Jey Uso looked like he was getting into his head a little bit, where it's like he wasn't very confident that they would get the job done, and I thought that they were going to lose the match tonight, and the Usos were going to split up. That was going in the back of my mind throughout the entire match while it was going on. Where man, I got a feeling that the Usos are going to lose this match, and Jay's going to crash out and turn on his brother, and then we're going to get crash out Jay in a darker side, a heel version of Jay Uso. But they didn't do that. They get the titles on the Usos. I mean, it's great and all. I don't think this is going to fix the problems that Raw Tag Team division have going forward. Hopefully, you can get some new tag teams in the mix. But the thing is, you've kept off so many of these tag teams that are in that division off TV for so long that if you bring them back, the crowd might not care. That that's the issue with the tag team division. And I see all these people on social media talking about, oh, the Usos are now tag team champions. The tag team division is saved. It's not. It's not. You've got to start building up more tag teams. Just get the Creed brothers on there. Don't get the New Day out there. We've seen them enough. Get the Creed brothers back out there. Um, get the mask off of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Get them back together as well, I forget what their names were, but get them back their tag team name, but get them back together. Something. The Usos winning the tag team titles isn't going to fix anything if you can't get a division around them on TV. So I still do think that this could lead to a split up at some point. I think that I honestly I don't see them holding the titles very long. I think this is just a way for them to where they think that they're finally back on top. They defend their titles and then they lose them, and then I think that's where we could see the crash shot on Jey Uso. But man, what a show! What a show to end 2025. Now it isn't the final WWE show 2025 because we got NXT tomorrow night, but main roster wise, this was the final show of 2025, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoyed this episode of Raw. What was your favorite moment? What are your predictions for the world title match next week between Braun Breaker and CM Punk? And then you've got Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch. I would love to hear your guys' predictions on those two matches. Next week's Raw looks like it's gonna be pretty good. It is a Stranger Things collab, so that'll be interesting. I watched Stranger Things. I'm looking forward to the season series finale coming out just a couple days. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come help us make Wrestling City the greatest city in the world. I promise you, you will enjoy your stay. Let's end 2025 in a big way. And we've got some pretty good content coming your way to close out the year. On tomorrow, Tuesday, we've got Ryler. He is doing a series. So, Royal Rumble is the next premium live event coming up in late January. So, Ryler is going to be going through every PS2 wrestling game, and he will be playing a Royal Rumble match in those. And he'll see if he can survive the Royal Rumble in all the PS2, PlayStation 2 wrestling games. And then on Wednesday, we've got our 2026 predictions video where we each came up with predictions for what we think will happen in 2026, whether it is title changes, heel turns, face turns, feuds that we could see in 2026, call ups, anything like that. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure to hit that notification bell when you do subscribe so you get notified for that. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care and God bless. See ya.